let's talk about Better Man. So this is, of course, the Robbie Williams movie from the director of the Greatest Showman and stuff like that. And this film sees Robbie Williams as we watch him go from being like a part of a boy band, I guess in the 80s, a boy band when he's 15, to, I guess, at some point maybe in his 20s or 30s, as he becomes the man that the rest of the world knows and loves. This is a story about him becoming famous and all that stuff. And it does a really good job, I think, at being artistically expressive. But I will say, I'm an American. I had no idea who Robbie Williams was, and it was sort of funny to watch so many American people on, I guess, a lot of social media platforms, but I primarily saw this on TikTok, be like, who's Robbie Williams? And like, all this sort of jibber jabber about, who is this guy? Why is this weird ape movie happening? Who is Robbie Williams? Is this a Robin Williams thing? Why is he a fictional character? All this kind of stuff. And it was very interesting to sort of just like learn about this guy who I never heard of through the lens of a really good movie. And I think that this does a really good job because it is about a real person, but is sort of highly fictionalized, within the fact that he is a CG monkey who, wears human clothes, and he like has different like haircuts throughout the film and stuff like that. And like it's very interesting just all see that. Although at one point he's like blonde, and like all of his fur seemingly is blonde. So like how does that work? How do you bleach your entire body blonde? Doesn't matter. It's a fantasy. And like this does a very good job at being creatively artistic in terms of its high aspirations. And it does a really good job at getting you inside the head of Robbie Williams. And I've never, walking out of a movie, although, I own this on DVD, I didn't walk out of the theater, but like walking away from a movie, I oddly have never felt so close to seemingly, or to essentially who is a real person, because like very often, you only get really good deep dives into a person in terms of their character, in terms of their integrity, and in terms of all the things that make a human. Like books are supposed to, but books are honestly boring, but like books are supposed to do that in a really good way. Films very often don't. And it was very impressive what this movie was able to do in terms of getting you into the headspace of Robbie Williams. And this does a really good job at sort of being a musical. This is very much sort of like Rocket Man is a musical biopic. It's just about a dude who sings like others. This is a musical that is also a biopic. And it did a very good job at, like I said, getting me into the headspace of Robbie Williams and, sort of his highs and his lows. And this feels like a very honest kind of movie. You don't very often get an honest movie like this from when the guy himself is actually involved. Like, I'm struggling to sort of come up with examples, but there are examples out there of, completely really honest depictions of real life people, but they're very often sort of disowned by either people who weren't, or who either knew the person or who they are about. And it was very interesting to sort of like see Robbie Williams completely like kind of endorse this film within the fact that I think he's a producer. He obviously did the voice for his character, and it was very good. This ultimately is a very enjoyable film, and I think if you like musical biopics, you will like this film. If you like sort of more artistic, artsy-fartsy type things that really do sort of also cater to the mainstream, I think you'll like this movie. Sure, I guess Robbie Williams isn't super famous in America, and this movie unfortunately did not do super well at the box office, but I do highly recommend this film. And whether you look at it as a movie about a real guy or a movie about a fictional character, I think there is some enjoyment to get out of it. I would be remiss if I did not talk about the fact that, as a guy who suffers from sort of the mentality of, I'm not perfect, I'm not good enough, I'm not, I get those voices too. This movie does a very good job at sort of having, because the whole part of why it's called Better Man is because Robbie, he deals with alcoholism and drug abuse and depression, and he deals with all these different things. And in the crowds, you can see younger versions of himself saying that you're not good enough and all this kind of stuff, and just the sort of the dark thoughts that get inside your head when you're just a person existing. And this movie does a really good job at sort of depicting that in a way that's believable. And I will say, as a person who has had those thoughts before, and it is very hard to sort of escape those thoughts, I think this movie does a good job at, like I said, putting you in the headspace. Like, I feel like, even though this is literally impossible, I feel like I know Robbie Williams better as a person because I watched this movie. And that's all because of, because of the way that we're able to get into his head, because he's a monkey, because there are fantastical elements in this film. So yeah, comment below, let me know, what did you think of this movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? All that kind of stuff. I imagine a lot of people probably are very positive about this movie. I can kind of see why you wouldn't like it, maybe, because it is definitely it's kind of an artsy film, but this is honestly a really good film, and I highly recommend you watch it. So yeah, remember, God, He made you special. He loves you very much. I hope you have a very lovely day. I hope you had a very lovely week. It is Men's Health Awareness Month, so I guess it'd be a good movie to watch for that. Hope all you guys are doing well, as always. God bless, and I love you.